please give a warm welcome to the doctor.
Thank you. If you can hear me, raise your hand. Thank you. Very nice. Now, what do you see on the screen? I see you. You see me, and you see the slides.
Yep. Yes. To the right.
Okay. But the image of you does not interfere with the slide. Thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry I'm not there physically. I would love to be there, except it's 24 Celsius here right now, 75 degrees. I don't know how cold you are. Now, what I intend to do today in this hour is I want to give you all what you need. I want you to think about that. I want to give you something that you need to make your life better. And I want to apologize the way our president treated your leader. I won't get into that, though. Maybe next time. I want to thank Stephen very much. Stephen came to America a few years ago to spend a week with me to become certified as a Harada Method coach. I'm going to talk to you about the Harada Method. I see a number of you are just sitting there. Are you that good? You don't have to take notes. You see, I don't have that kind of mind. My mind does not remember. I was such a poor student. Such a poor student because when I went to school, school was based on memory, and I had a very poor memory. But today we're in a different age. Today you don't need a memory because you have internet. And so the funny thing, though, is that we haven't changed our school system to be up to date. They still require you to memorize things. They still give you tests based upon your memory. They shouldn't give you tests on your memory. They should only test you on your ability to discover wonderful things for you and for everybody else. So I'm going to talk about a few things that I hope will be of value to you, real of value to you, that will help you improve your life and the lives of people around. I have here, okay, that's my email address. And unfortunately, those of you that don't have ink and pencil, you can't write it down. But you have an iPhone. Take a picture. That's very good. I want you to take my email address, because hopefully you'll give me feedback. Hopefully you'll send me questions. Hopefully we will have some continual future contact together. I would like that very much. I like Australia. I've been there 3 times before, and Melbourne 3 times before. And of course, I had such a good time in many ways. I love to go out and see the penguins coming in. We've done that. And it was a lot of fun, except on one of my visits on my first trip to Melbourne, I went to one of your zoos. And you have a very unusual zoo because you go into the zoo, you're in with the animals. We don't have that in America. That means we have animals inside the cages, and then, of course, we have the animals outside of the cages. We have both here. This is a unique experience in Melbourne, and there I saw this. But the unfortunate thing is, this started to chase me. And I was not familiar. I didn't know if it wanted to kiss me or kick me. What would you do? I ran. I ran. Okay. We're going to talk about agile, really lean, or TPS, the total production system, or JIT. Now, some of you said you didn't raise your hand on knowing Shingo or knowing Ono. You should know both. Now, I publish their books in English, maybe 17 other languages, and there's no benefit for me if you buy their books, but I recommend you go and buy the books because I sold the company. These are the creators of what the total production system, of what we call just-in-time or lean or what you call agile. Pretty much means the same thing, but it comes to different arenas. Lean and TPS pretty much applies to a manufacturing company, and agile, I believe, applies to the software industry. Is that correct? What is it really? And maybe I could help steer you. Maybe I could give you some help, because I've published over 200 books on the subject. 100 of those have been Japanese translations. I continue to do that. I was in Japan just a few months ago, and I found some jewels, wonderful jewels that I'm working on now. So agile lean is the total elimination of all non-valuating waste. That's the way we look at it now. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a different shift of the way we think of it. Is that correct, by the way? Is that statement correct for you? But what is waste? This comes from Shigeru Nakamura. This is a very great genius, one of my former authors. What a genius this man is. And he said, no, we shouldn't look necessarily at waste. He said the following: we should look at the ideal. What is the ideal? Not the current state, not yet. What is the ideal that you would like to get in the work that you do? What's the ideal? What is it? No mistakes in the programs. Programs work super efficient the first time you run it. Everybody easily can understand it. Customer, this I love very much. The customer could change the software. That doesn't exist very often in America. Most companies buy software and they're totally dependent upon the engineer that did the software. They can't make any changes. It's a little bit frustrating for me, the user. So we look at the ideal, and then it's minus now. What is the current condition? And then the difference we call waste. And we want to eliminate that waste. That comes from Ono. Ono came up with 7 wastes. But what is the ideal? Always adding value. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Always adding value. That's what we're in business to do, not to do the same thing that we did yesterday. And of course, we should have a great life in the process. We should be respected. We should be praised. Now, how many of you were praised yesterday? Raise your hand if somebody praised you. A few. Before you leave today, you should turn to each other and praise each other. Find something nice to say to each other. It inspires it. We should be properly rewarded. Work should be fun. It should be challenging. It should be growing. It should be learning. I don't know about Australia, but we're in a very strange world in America. A very strange world is the function of an American corporation is for one thing only, and that is to make profit. That is to make profit. Why? So the CEO can get $20 million a year in salary. I don't know how it is in Australia, but it is a little sad because work should be fun. It should be challenging. And when you come to work, you should feel a little bit secure that you'll have the same job tomorrow as long as you do a good job for the customer. And I believe also that you are self-reliant, doing what you want to do while serving others. I want you to think about this term self-reliant. It's a key to what I teach, that you are the masters. You're serving, of course, the company and the customers of this company, but you're also doing what you want also. And we'll cover a little bit of this as we go through these slides. What is missing in Agile and Lean? And I hope you'll give me some feedback. The way we're going to do this today is I have roughly 30 minutes of slides in my presentation, maybe a little bit more. And then we open up to questions. And I would love you to write questions down as I'm speaking, as many questions as you can. And I think I'm a little bit unique. I'm going to be 85 years old in a couple of weeks. And what's unique about me, number one, is I'm still working. And I'll give you a new motto. I'll give you a motto because I was going to retire, but then I met this great doctor, a great doctor in Japan. His name is Nagata, Nagata. He is revolutionizing the world of medicine. An amazing man. And he has a motto that I adapted. And his motto was lifelong learning. Come on, write this down. Lifelong learning, active service, and retirement at death. That's my motto. I'm going to work to the day I die. I mean, look, I had a very big company. I had a multi-million-dollar company. I was a super rich person. And somebody said to me when I'm 65, Norman, this is the year to retire. And I listened. And I turned over the company to 2 other people. And a year later, I had no company. But originally, I liked the idea that I continue to work to the day I die. Now, what's missing maybe in Agile is people working at their maximum creative level. That's what it should be about. It's you operating at your maximum creative level. And if you'd like, by the way, if you sent me an email, I'll send you a copy of all my slides or answer any other question you might like. And I'll give you my email address again at the end. I like this. This is the 8th waste, the underutilization of people's talents. Have you heard of this before?
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
I claim this is mine.
Thanks.
And I came up with a 9th waste. I like this one too. The 9th waste is managers' resistance to change. Managers' resistance to change. So I teach this Harada method now. This is really funny because 3 weeks ago, Ed Wong sent me an invitation to keynote this conference for you. And he told me to hook up to the zoom.us, which I'm using now. I never used it before. And I started to look at it and I liked it. And I let a whole bunch of people know that I was losing it. And all of a sudden I have 6 new students. This is really funny. And one student was working at a hospital in Arkansas in America, down south. And he's a leading expert in the hospital, trying to save them a lot of money. And he works for a Catholic hospital. And I said, you know, I worked for a Catholic hospital a couple of years ago, and I taught the lean manager 2 things. One is called Quick and Easy Kaizen, or the Japanese suggestion system, which I recommend you all learn, Quick and Easy Kaizen. And I also taught them the Harada method. And the result is they saved $1.5 million in the last 2 years, $1.5 million. And I said to this manager, I said, look, I will train you, but you're going to have to pay me. I'm going to charge you $125 per session. And I don't know how many sessions you might take. They're an hour session over Zoom. Maybe it's 1 session, maybe it's 5 sessions. I don't know. It's how good you are to learn the method and to be coached and to become a coach. He says, Norman, in order for me to pay you $125, I have to get permission from the president of the hospital. I don't know. I thought that's kind of strange, but I said, okay. I said, you go to the president and tell him I saved $1.5 million from his sister hospital in Indianapolis. So he goes to the president and he says, look, I want to do this. I'm learning a lot from Norman. The president said, I'm sorry, it's not in the budget. But he saved the other hospital $1.5 million. Sorry, it's not in the budget. It's really managers' resistance to change, which we have to overcome. It's a challenge, but we can work on it.